What are my top 5 rides in Universal Studios Orlando? Stay tuned to find out. Hey, it's John Day. Want to know what my top 5 must-do rides are at Universal Studios Orlando? Now, I'm going to preface this is just my opinion. There's going to be some rides that did not make the list that might upset some people, and they may be your favorite rides. So let me know in the comments. But are you excited? Let's get right into it. So starting with number 5, what is my 5th must-do ride in Universal Orlando? Now, this may come across as cheating a little bit, but I had to put it on here, and that's the Hogwarts Express from King's Cross in London. Now, this ride opened in July of 2014, the same time as Diagon Alley opened, and what's really cool about this is 2 things. One, on this side of Hogwarts Express, you get to run through the wall at platform 9 3/4. It really feels like you're at the train station that you see in the movies. One of the really cool things you can do is ask some of the workers there, hey, where's platform 9 3/4? And they're going to act like you're crazy and they're not going to understand what you're asking, that they don't have that. There's a lot of really cool things about this. And it does take you, as you might already know, from Universal Studios over to Islands of Adventure. The ride is different on each way. So I really like the ride from King's Cross just because it makes me feel more Harry Potter-ish than I do when I'm coming from Islands of Adventure. But the line can get really long. There is Express Pass, and it helps some, but the line can get extremely long, so just do know that. The thing I will say is that the train holds so many people that the line, even though it looks long, may not always be as long as you think. And the experience is just too much to pass up. So if you're ever there and the wait's not an hour and a half or 2 hours like it can get to sometimes, this is a must do. It's a must do for me every time. If you're a Harry Potter fan, you are going to freak out and have an unbelievable time on this ride. And so, yes, while it's in both parks, this is going to be my number 5 for Universal Studios Orlando. My number 4 spot goes to the one, the only Men in Black. Now, Men in Black opened in April of 2000 and it's obviously based on the Men in Black movie series. And it's an incredible ride. It's your typical shooter game, much like Buzz Lightyear over in Disney, and it moves around the set. The sets are unbelievable. Do I know what I'm shooting at half the time? No. Do I know how these people are getting these astronomical numbers? No. Could I research it? Probably, but I just like to have a lot of fun. I will say this caveat. If you don't like spinning or that bothers you at all, this ride does spin quite often. So I've had some people didn't bother, and I've had some friends that have come with us that have gotten off a little bit dizzy. So do keep that in mind, especially with younger children. Now, one of the biggest things that's kind of a secret, except for all of those who go to Universal Studios Orlando a lot and in the dead of summer, if it's 100 degrees outside, where do we go? Men in Black. That AC is so cold. You walk in there and it just hits you, and it's absolutely incredible. I have gone sometimes on a hot day, just wanted to chill out, and I've walked into the gift shop and just stood there because of how amazing it feels. So it's a really cool place to go if you really want to cool down. Now, it does have single rider, and this single rider, unlike some of the other rides, actually helps. So I've gone when it's been a 45 to an hour wait, went into single rider and got on within 10 minutes. Because it is a 3-seater, there's usually not even parties along the way. So the single rider moves pretty quickly. Now, you do miss some of the queue on the single rider. So do understand that you're going to miss some of that. There's a lot of things to see if you don't go through the regular queue, but it's still an awesome ride. So Men in Black is one of mine. I'm still trying to get the highest score I can possibly get, but what do you think? What's your highest score? Let me know in the comments. Now that brings me to my number 3, and that would be Transformers the Ride. Now this is your typical move through sets 3D thing that Universal might have got a little slack for, back in the day, but they've brought in some roller coasters that have kind of balanced that out. But I actually really enjoy this ride. It actually makes you feel like Optimus Prime is literally standing right in front of your face. It's really cool. Now, I will say that a lot of people don't like this ride because they feel like it's too jolty and there's a lot of movement. And I would agree with that. It also spins a little bit. There's some surprises. So just do be a little bit cautious. It's safe for children and any of that. But if you have any kind of motion sickness or anything like that, especially because it's 3D, this is one of the rides that might get you. I would say pro tip, don't sit in the back row if you can help it, because that does jolt you the most, and that's probably a little bit painful sometimes. So just a pro tip. Now, The ride vehicle is the same as Spider-Man if you've been on that over in Islands of Adventure. And so it seats 4 people, has an easy lap bar. You're enclosed in the ride vehicle. It's a really cool ride vehicle. 3D goggles. It's a lot of fun. Make sure at the end of the ride you take your 3D glasses off before you get to the end of the ride and look up. There's a special surprise. Now, I will say that this single rider is also one that really helps you. Again, because it's 4 seats, a lot of the times there's not going to be parties that are going to even out that well. So again, this is one of the rides that I've seen a wait for 90 minutes, walked almost right on in single rider. Now you don't get to ride with your family. You do miss some of the queue. So just keep those things in mind. But if you've ridden this before and you just want to get on and enjoy your day, single rider is going to work on this. It's going to be absolutely amazing. The ride is really fun. Let me know what you think in the comments. Does it bother you? Does the 3D bother you? But Transformers the Ride, that's going to be my number 3 must-do in Universal Studios. Okay, now we're getting into it. My second must-do favorite ride at Universal Studios Orlando is Escape from Gringotts. Now, this opened in July of 2014, same as Hogwarts Express, and just Diagon Alley as a whole. If you've not been to Diagon Alley, it is one of the most immersive, incredible places you can be. Now, I'm going to do a video when I go down there, a vlog about everything in Diagon Alley. So that video is going to come soon, show you some of the tips and tricks about Diagon Alley. But Escape from Gringotts is the only ride at Diagon Alley. There's a lot of shows and things like that that you can see, but it is the only ride. Now, caveat before you even get into the ride that I'll say. The locker situation, because you do have to put yourself in a locker on this ride because it is a roller coaster, even though it's also 3D, it can get a bit crazy. So please just listen to the team members if they're saying 1 person per locker, so you don't have 20 people going into 1 locker. It can get cramped, and if you go, you'll see what I'm talking about or if you've ever been there. Now, the biggest thing that people say when they first walk into this queue is, oh my gosh, this is amazing. You are walking literally into Gringotts Bank. And just the way it looks is absolutely amazing. There's goblins over there talking to you all over the place. You might say something to them, and it actually feels like they're responding to you. It's a little freaky, but so, so cool. Now, I'll say the queue is really cool. There's a great pre-show. There's actually a photo op in the middle of the queue. There's a lot to do in the queue. However, this ride does also offer single rider, and it again is one of those that's really going to help you. I have seen it be almost a 2-hour wait before, and the single rider I got through in maybe 25 to 30 minutes. So it's definitely going to save you a lot because it is, again, one of those 4-seater ride vehicles. So the parties are always going to mix up a little bit. Now, you don't get to ride with the people you came with. If you've never been through the full queue before, this is your first time, 100% highly, highly suggest that you go through the full queue. Now, it does also accept Express, as does everything else but Hagrid's. It accepts Express, and when you go through Express, you get to go through the full queue. So you won't miss anything if you do it that way, but you'll just get to go through a little bit faster. But this is one of my favorite rides. It's a lot of fun. Again, it does have the 3D aspect, so if motion sickness is an issue for you, just keep an eye on that. There's a couple few surprises that I won't spoil for you if you haven't done it yet, but this is one of my must-do. If you're a Harry Potter fan, you are going to feel like you are in the movie. It's so unbelievably amazing and one of my favorites to do. So let me know, have you ridden it? What do you think? What do you like about it? Comment and tell me what you thought. And yes, Escape from Gringotts. That's going to be my number 2. And let's get ready. What is going to be number 1? Okay, we made it. My number 1 ride must do in Universal Studios Orlando. Now, if you know anything about Universal Studios, you probably know where this is going. And I'm actually probably in the majority on this. But probably not shocking to most, my favorite absolute must-do ride in Universal Studios Orlando is The Mummy. Now, this ride was built in May of 2004, and it's based on the Mummy franchise. And some would say that the Mummy franchise is a little bit outdated. A lot of the younger generation doesn't really know much about the Mummy. They don't really even know who Brendan Fraser is, although he did just win an Oscar just recently, so for The Whale. So congratulations, Brendan Fraser. But it is so much fun. Now, this is a roller coaster. Parts of it are in the dark. It's a really crazy fun queue. So the Mummy obviously is based on the Mummy, and it's kind of dark. So some kids can get a little bit scared in there. I've seen some parents have to take their kids out. In the queue, there are parts where it gets completely dark almost. It's really hard to see sometimes. But the point of this is you're kind of on set of the Mummy, but there's actually a mummy, and it's really a lot of fun. So this is my favorite ride. I have literally gone to this ride and gotten on over and over and over and over and over again. I think I've ridden it the most 6 times in a row just because I love it so much. It is absolutely fun. It's thrilling. It's fun. The storyline is funny. It's just really, really a cool ride. And I love it so much. And probably it's going to be at the top of most people's list because I've watched a lot of videos where people have said The Mummy, best ride at Universal Studios Orlando, and I could not agree more. Not only is it my number one, it's really way above everything else, if I'm being honest. This one also takes Express Pass, like everything else, and that helps you. You do miss some of the queue with the Express Pass, so do know that. Maybe that works for you if you have a young kid that you think wants to ride the ride. It is a roller coaster. It does go fast. And so just keep that in mind as well. But maybe you want to skip some of that queue because it's a little bit too much for your kids. It also has single rider. Now, this single rider is also going to save you a ton of time. It's another 4-seater. So again, in those 4-seaters, you just seem to be able to get on the ride a lot quicker. But you pretty much miss everything. There's zero queue when you're going through the single rider line. You go right in, you take a left, you go right up the stairs, and you're at the ride. One of the things I'll say, and I think the team members would probably appreciate this, when you get to the top of the stairs at the Mummy, there's 2 ways you can go. So you can go to the left or you can go to the right. Both ways, unless it's really not busy and they've got blocked off, both ways are always open. What tends to happen is people only go to the left. They don't see that there's an option to go to the right, and that's what backs up the queue a lot. And you'll hear the team member scream, both lines are open because they have 2 sides. So they're loading both sides. So it goes really, really quick. Even when there's a long wait for this, you actually move through the queue pretty quickly. So you feel like you're always constantly moving because the ride is constantly going. It's got 4 to a row, and there's 3 rows. So there's a lot going on this ride, and it's so much fun. So I won't spoil anything for you if you haven't ridden this ride, but it is my top ride in Universal Orlando, by far my favorite. It is the first ride that I hit every single time I walk into that park, and it is the last ride I take if I'm going to leave that park for the day. So let me know, what do you think? Is Mummy your favorite ride? Have you ever ridden it? Is it too much for you? Do you love the roller coaster in the dark aspect? Let me know in the comments. So there you have it, my top 5 rides that you must do when you visit Universal Studios Orlando. Let me know in the comments. Did I miss your favorite? Sound off. Let me know if I'm completely wrong. And just let me know what you think about some of the rides that we talked about and any questions you may have that I didn't get to answer or about other rides that are in Universal Studios. And thank you guys so much for watching this video. Again, like, share, subscribe, hit that bell notification so you don't miss any future theme park content. And as always, remember, happiness is just a theme park away.